I was in the lounge walking around because I just couldn't focus.
Jeep.
And it said to me, if you just renounce God, just say that God isn't real. So that's all you got to do.
All you need to do.
And I will take every horrible part of what you're going through completely away, and I won't have it anymore. I did think about it.
Hello and welcome to Spaghetti Junction Podcast. My name is Bruce.
And my name is Gareth.
Nice one, dude. We talk about things.
We just don't know where they're going to go. So I'm looking at this setup we have, and I have to say I'm pretty excited.
I think we've definitely leveled up
dude,
a little bit.
We've leveled. we hit 10 episodes, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
No more nonsense.
No more nonsense. No more ambient like sound and kids
just
playing around outside.
Exactly. This just makes me so happy. I picked up I bought a podcast mic about a week ago, and it arrived. Thankfully, it arrived from the courier on Friday night about 4:00. I've just been really excited to like put things up and see how they go.
That's very cool, and eventually we will be doing video so you can see how pumped out Gareth actually is in his mic. I think I need to level up now as well, because I've had to use now a normal vocal mic.
Stole your slot, which you normally use.
Stealing my thunder, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's awesome because now we've leveled up the audio to another.
Exactly. And I'd like to think that people will actually want to listen more because we actually sound, because I was mentioning to Bruce that that I was listening to a few more podcasts because I like listening to other podcasts. It just it inspires me for this and what we're doing and stuff, and also some are very interesting. And there was one that sounded as if they were on a couch and the microphones were like near the other wall, and I'm sure they did some really good things, but I didn't listen much because it just didn't have that. Now we sound like snobs.
But what were you in? Like, were we like 1 minute in and you were like, I can't handle this?
Yeah, not in a horrible way to them, but yes, it was on Spotify, and it was very difficult to listen to because I couldn't really hear people.
Yeah.
Now bear in mind what have people been thinking up to this episode? Maybe they're also saying,
yes, I sound like
we're gonna pull through, but
yeah. Well, hopefully now. Let us know what you guys think.
Yes, please, because I think we're doing pretty well, and we are definitely not snobs in this. Because if we are, we apologize, but we're not. We just enjoy doing this, and we want to try and do the best that we can.
I don't know. I felt a little snobby when we hit 10 episodes. I was like, yeah, baby.
That's right.
We got
That's
this.
right.
And
you're actually right. Yes, I told my one of my nephews, like, you guys have done 10 already. I was like, yeah. And bring up and then speaking about my nephew, I know that you did, and we had a thought like, why don't we also level up our logo and
Absolutely.
and who we are. But yes, this spaghetti tin is cool, but and it has definitely served its purpose.
Yes.
But then we thought, hey, let's just up another level. So hopefully in the next few weeks, whenever it happens, we will have a new logo.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Gareth's already shown me some ideas and some designs and stuff, and we'll see what happens.
I think it's going to be cool. Yeah, so thanks for lasting for 10, and I think it's going to be a lot more. So hopefully you guys will be happy with the sound, and as Bruce was saying, let us know what you guys think.
Yeah. We'd appreciate some feedback.
Yeah, actually would be nice, But it just makes me feel even a little bit more pumped up now for what we're doing. So, thanks, dude.
Cool.
This is what are we going to be speaking about, by the way? One of our main topic now is around the whole topic of mental health, if I'm correct.
Yes, absolutely. And this is kind of like probably going to be Gareth's story more than anything else, predominantly in this. I definitely do have some questions and stuff like that, but Gareth's got his own sort of story and journey.
Menagerie. Yes, I have a menagerie of things that I've done.
Menagerie of thoughts.
Menagerie. It makes me think of Doom Patrol.
Oh my! You are so into Doom Patrol now.
I am. It's crazy, yeah.
Whereas I've
You put it on hold.
I've put it on hold because of all the other cool series you gave me.
I know. No, I mean, why I bring up, because there's one character, what is her name? The female character.
She's got like 10,000 different.
64.
Okay.
She has 64 different personalities in her, and the one episode you actually go down to what is called the Underground, and you see all her characters.
Wow, I haven't seen that episode.
Really good.
64 different personalities.
She has I mean, you won't see all 64, but you see her like main, her like her main characters, which she is. It's very fascinating.
That many personalities kind of reminds me of one or two of my Tinder dates that I've had in the past.
Wow, that must have been very dramatic.
They were because especially the one. She was an interesting bunch of girls. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what? Oh, you don't want to go there.
No, I don't.
No, let's leave that one. Leave it to bed, so to speak. Yeah. No, so yeah, I definitely don't have that, but I'm just. It made me think about that.
I'll need to get back to that series. But now the thing is, you're giving me more that it's going to cause Doom Patrol to possibly even put more on the back burner. But I'll see if I can make it plan.
Yeah, that is
Gareth. Gareth is currently. I kind of call him my series enabler, or possibly my dealer.
I think a dealer is good.
Dealer.
I think it's a good word to use.
Sounds cool. Enabler sounds a little bit too Dr. Philish.
That's true.
You're enabling him.
Dr. Philish. Yeah.
Whereas dealer, that sounds cooler.
I think it does as well.
I don't know.
And at least I'm not doing something that's like way over the limits of being like really wrong.
Yeah. And just so you know, children, we're not saying that drug dealers are cool.
No, we're not.
I'm just saying that Gareth is cool. You can be my drug dealer, dude.
Anytime.
I'll phone you exclusively at 3 a.m. when I need a fix of season 3
2 or 3, yeah. Whatever you're watching. Exactly. No, that's awesome, dude.
This one, the subject of this podcast has actually been on Gareth's mind for a long time. We wanted to speak about this since we started. Yeah, it was always like, okay,
somewhere in there, when it's right.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it obviously feels like it's right.
Because here we are, like it or not. Yeah, I mean, one of the major kind of like reasons why I wanted to, share a lot more is not for my self-gratification, so to say. I just want it to be an open conversation, that hopefully, if anyone is listening to this and they may relate and so forth, and that it's that we all have our hang-ups, we all have our baggage, and it's really, if I can just start with something, it's very difficult not to label, but I'm going to have to just because I've experienced it a lot within the very hyper Christian environment, and hyper I mean as in like over the top, if that makes sense. Like if you have been watching the politics between of Trump and Biden.
Yeah.
On Trump's side, he has his like own spiritual advisor and everything, and they were like praying against this whole loss happening, and and his spiritual advisor was praying for the angels of Africa to come. Angels of Africa, come and save. Angels of Africa, angels of South America, angels. I'm like, what the hell?
Okay.
Yeah, and when the news came in that he lost, a very prominent television evangelist, he brought it up to his yes men at church. That's what I call them, because they just follow whatever he says.
Pretty much.
And said that. So I heard that Joe Biden won, and then he laughs, but a maniacal laugh, and they keep on laughing as if it's like they laugh hard enough, it's not going to happen. And so when I'm talking about hyper Christian, I'm talking about maybe not to that extent, but I'm sure that we have all reached or come upon people like this, where there is a train of thought that that when that if you suffer from some form of mental illness, that you don't have enough faith in God. That you're falling apart. No, just snap out of it. Spend time with God, and it'll get you through. And I'm not saying that God doesn't get me through. He does, but He also makes doctors who give medication. When I was when I went to Kenya, and then I was coming back home, and I went via Uganda. Where I stayed, where I helped out, I volunteered at a campsite there that was run by missionaries, and I remember I had a conversation with one of the people there, a youngster from the States, who actually hadn't even left the friggin' what's it called? Compound. Like, he had been there for months, and he hadn't even just gone outside to buy bread, or to get a haircut. No, there were a few of them there. Anyways, and he saw what medication I was doing and stuff, and I can't remember the wording he used, but it was basically, why are you relying on medication? Put your medication aside. Well, why do you rely on medication? Rely on God.
Dude, you never told me that story. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I sat with him, and I can't remember what I said, but I was more like taken aback, like exactly what you're saying. I was like, okay.
Well, it's because I'm of sound and rational mind, and like, doctors are good things.
Medication is okay, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but on his viewpoint, and he was a youngster, and he was an idiot. Oh, okay, no, I'll stick with that. To me, he was a fully fermented idiot.
Fermented. Wow.
Exactly. He's really gone over the top.
It was a little overripe. Spent a little bit too much time in the sun.
Oh yeah,
whatever. In a Tupperware box.
Tupperware box. Exactly.
In the Ugandan sun.
That was his world.
We know the Ugandan sun's pretty intense.
Uganda was freaking hot, but beautiful, dude. The whole, like, where I was, it was like a it was rural.
Yeah.
And just the greenery was
Really?
The greenery, is that a word to use?
Yeah, absolutely.
The greenery was green.
Foliage.
That's better. The foliage. The foliage.
The foliage.
The foliage was
nice.
Green and graceful.
Nice.
Anyway, so I just wanted to, sometimes people can bring in a view that is like completely, you know what, if you have a view, you're welcome to use it, but don't try and make your view someone else's and get angry when the person doesn't take it. Because just because you think something's true, it doesn't make it true.
And I think we see that a hell of a lot in all different spheres in this day and age.
Oh yeah.
And disagreeing sometimes with someone, you can be accused of hate speech just because you don't agree with someone's belief, narrative, whatever.
100%.
And in this day and age where we supposedly have free speech, it's like, no, I'm just exercising my right to free speech, just like you are. Yeah. No, that's hate speech because you don't agree with me. Yeah. It's
exactly. It also
times,
it also gets me, and I have to watch myself that I don't react, because I think a lot of the times when you don't react, then they don't know what to do. And
I mean, also, okay, this conversation should be for our next podcast, which is actually going to be about social media, but we can talk about it here as well. It's just like, if you're on social media and you see stuff, it's so tempting to want to type something, and you just know that's gonna get people's backs up. It's gonna get rocks thrown at you. It's gonna ruffle feathers, and sometimes it's fun to do that, but other times it's just like, and you've got to. I'm trying to be disciplined with that, a bit like, okay, just don't engage, because you just bite your tongue. and walk away.
I think the question is,
So-
which you have to ask yourself whenever you write anything, or if you say it to somebody, the question you've got to ask yourself is, what is my agenda in this?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And if it's to rile people up or to hurt people because I'm angry and I'm hurt if I'm going to hurt you,
Yeah.
then don't say anything.
And the internet never forgets.
Actually, it doesn't.
No. You got a digital footprint no matter
So I'm
where
in
you
trouble. Whatever. One day. Yeah, whatever.
are. So, all you girls on OnlyFans, that's going to be there forever.
But I would imagine with the ones who are like really, really rich, they don't give a crap.
Probably not.
Yeah. But anyways, that's for our next podcast.
That's
But this is like a really good teaser as to what's going to come up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yes, the bottom line is, if you believe in something wholeheartedly but someone else doesn't, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they're wrong or you're wrong. I feel that, okay, no, I lie. There are, well, what are they called? Like 100%ers. Like it's got a word about it. It's like a set in stone thing. Like the sky is blue.
Yeah.
And you can come to me and tell me it's red and be angry when I don't believe you or don't agree with you. It doesn't change the fact that it's blue.
I think what you're trying to talk about is it's a person's own personal truth, which sometimes doesn't line up with the actual
truth, exactly.
Like and literally it's like the facts don't care about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yes, there we go.
This is the thing. It's like, and with what we live in an age of emotionalism where feelings sometimes override facts and rational thought.
Yeah.
Like, I feel this, therefore I must be right. Like, no, this is a scientific fact.
Yeah.
And just because you feel something different, it's not going to change the scientific fact.
Yes.
Like, yes, the sky is blue. No, it's red. No, fact.
Yeah, exactly.
It's blue. Water's wet.
Yeah.
Like, no, water feels like talcum powder. No.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's just not arguing.
Yeah.
You just got to like walk
and
away.
I think with those kind of people, you just say, oh, okay, cool. That's what you believe. That's okay.
Yeah. I think I you know what, and I think anyone, I mean, yeah, like if live in the Western world, we are free to believe what we want, express our beliefs.
But
don't shove it down our throats.
Exactly.
Don't
just because you don't like the idea that taking medication is bad. I mean, sorry, that you think that medication is bad. That's your viewpoint. Fine.
Exactly.
And I guess you can also say, well, walk a mile in my shoe.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
have you gone through all this kind of stuff? And number two, your view on God is very one-sided. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe. Anyway,
it's good.
That was an interesting little show.
So it's very good.
I like that one flowed. Eh? Wow.
That's where we're going.
Oh yeah.
Keep it going.
We just don't know where it's gonna go.
No, that was very, very healthy actually.
All right. So, dude, when did you realize that there was possibly something wrong that was not just like, oh geez, I'm kind of having a bad day or a bad week? When did things reach a point where you're like, okay, this is an actual problem that I can't just kind of pray away. I've now got to.
Look, it really depends as to kind of what age it was, you know, like where it should go from. But I think I had a very high intensity to my life from when I was like in my teens, I think, where I would often over analyze things like everywhere. And I felt as if my mind was like on a racetrack, just going around in circles, just intense. And no matter what I did, it wouldn't shut the hell up.
I can relate.
Yeah. And but with this, it was more of a constant.
Sure.
Like, it wasn't always there every single day, but I was very much aware of it. And that was a part of it. I think it came to a fore when early 20s, and I was a youth pastor. And I remember the one morning I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed. And someone said, can you just move your legs? I've never experienced that in my life before, where I literally mentally could not get myself out of bed.
Like,
it freaked the shit out of me.
Could you literally not move your limbs?
Mentally, yes. I mean, mentally, in the mental state, I couldn't.
Could you open your eyes at least?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so your eyes were open, and
yes,
you were,
I could
you were
think,
like
and I
aware
could.
and stuff. But
yes, I was aware and I could talk.
Okay.
But it was such an intensity that I just, maybe I could get out of bed, but how I felt at that point, it freaked me out to even think of getting out of bed. It was as if there was like a stone on me, on my chest, and I couldn't. Getting out of bed was just a shitstorm in my brain.
That's crazy, huh?
And
I can't imagine how that would feel.
It was. I haven't had something that intense in my life before, up till that morning. And the hard part is that I didn't know what the problem was. I mean, you wake up, so the night before you're fine. So it wasn't as if it was like building up.
And what it wasn't is like something happened the day before and stuff like that. It just
not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
Wow.
Now, possibly, with the anxiety building and building and building, if I was able to see the intensity of the anxiety and everything going on in my brain, you could probably have seen like a build up. But without seeing that, you go to bed and you're okay. The next morning, you can't get out of bed.
That's been one of the scariest feelings ever.
It is, because, as I say, it didn't. There wasn't like a warning that like last week I'm feeling shitty for a while, and then I'm feeling horrible. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit dodgy. Okay, now I don't want to go outside the house.
Yeah, just
it was literally
hit you right.
Bam, you wake up and you just don't want to get out of bed. It took my sister coming to help me just to move from my bedroom to the lounge.
Yeah.
Where I ended up lying on the couch the whole time. Mentally, I don't know if I can say exhausted, but it was like running a marathon.
Jeepers.
And you're not used to running.
About what year was it?
It's going to show my age. I don't want to tell you. No.
I'm actually interested. I'm actually interested to know if it was where sort of, because you and I met, I think 1990. I want to say 1997, 96 maybe.
My memory's never good on those things, so I'll take your word for it.
I can't remember, but it was just after I'd left high school. So it might have been.
And that was when I was dating Tanya. I remember it was roughly around that same time, because she got me through a lot of it.
I think you and I had known each other before you met.
Tanya,
her.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
We had known each other for a while.
So you would have known me. Yes, you would have known me way before then.
Definitely.
So I don't know. I just remember it was in my 20s.
So
like mid-20s. Mid to late 20s.
Because remember, you did the music at my 21st birthday party. So we knew each other when I turned 21. Yeah, you were the DJ, dude. Don't you remember?
Me and Rowan, or just me?
No, just you.
Wow.
I have photographic evidence, and no, it's not on social media or online.
Instagram.
No.
Okay.
But you did the music at my 21st.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic memory, dude.
1895.
1895. How
no,
old
man,
are
I
you?
was 18 in 95.
Oh. You look really good for that kind of age.
I know.
I'm impressed. 125 years. It's not bad.
Stay out of the sun, eat my greens.
That's right.
Take those Cleopatra milk baths,
Nice.
Does wonders, darling.
Expensive, but nice.
All
freaking
how
bathtub
expensive
of
milk gets, bro. It's not just a little bit in your coffee in the mornings.
And that's probably why people do cry when the milk is spilled, because it's so expensive. It's like enough. You bastards. It's just.
I don't think Cleopatra.
Maybe that's where it came from.
I don't think Cleopatra.
No, she
cried.
shows no emotion.
She was like really rich and stuff.
Yeah, and she doesn't cry. She doesn't.
But she
smile.
was an empress.
That's right. An empress. Yeah. Milk baths.
Jeez.
Good.
How old did that come
I don't know at all, to be honest. Okay.
All right.
Yes, so that was roughly
wow, so-
around the kind of age level,
Damn.
age, and my sister came into my place once in a while, and she cleaned it. She stocked things in my fridge for me. My sister's a gem, and I mean, for my whole life, she looks out for me. You know, yeah, as does my mum and my brother, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just remember her in that point. Oh, and then I think my mum did as well.
Mm.
The whole family was there basically. Yeah, and they would put things in the fridge, you know, and clean up stuff, and to like try and explain to you know your job, you know, which at that point was the church, you know,
Yes.
and the youngsters, you know, my youth, why I couldn't leave the house.
Hectic.
And then I remember I finally got. It took me quite a while. I don't know if it was days or weeks, but I got myself to the front of the house, because the property the back of the house. The property was at the so basically it was on the obviously the house is on the road. So basically from the road up, you know, to the back of the house, and then there was like a little bit of like a little pathway ish kind of little like a felt-ish kind of area, and then that then reached onto the church. So
I
basically,
remember
we would go
you-
from the church all the way down to the house, which was then on the road.
Okay. Because remember, you and I, when you and I met, you were actually still living at home in Bulgaria.
No way.
You were. I
Okay.
remember because I would come and visit you at your mom and dad's place.
Wow.
Your dad.
I
your
like
dad
your
was-
memory.
Your dad was
My
still,
memory is...
Your dad was still alive. Your brother was
Wow.
still living at home.
Wow.
Your sister was out because she's, I think, the oldest
Yeah, that's right.
sibling.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So you were still at your house in Bulgaria. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So then trying to explain to people, I mean, how do you do that? Like I see you the night before, where you know everything's normal, having a fat chat. Then all of a sudden you won't even come out of your room, not because you're feeling. There's a difference between being depressed that you don't want to get off your bed,
Yeah.
and it's heavy and it's horrible. With this, like your mind is saying you just can't, because it freaks the crap out of your system just to get out of bed. It's like scary. And at the point, I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, the church leadership coming and, you know, speaking about stuff. They didn't know what it was, and which I don't see any fault. And, you know, they thought, well, maybe it's a spiritual thing going on, and, you know, they prayed against it, and then they put, there's a thing where there's a belief, and I don't know much how I believe in it, but if there were dodgy things happening in the property, you know, before you moved in, then you can pray about it and you can spread salt. That part I don't get. Whatever.
Yeah.
But their heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
And it was only, I think, a few weeks into it, a month or two, maybe no more, actually, quite a way into it, that there was a diagnosis of obsessive compulsive disorder.
Sure. So that was the.
That was the problem.
It was like the.
But no one was aware, you know, much about obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. And I think it actually took a long time for there to be an understanding, oh, you might actually have OCD. And I went through that for the best part of 2 years.
That's crazy.
It was one of the worst times of my life. Yeah.
But now tell me, when you talk about OCD,
Yeah.
did you notice up before that point? Did you notice behaviors
Yeah.
that you were manifesting
Yeah.
that were quote unquote obsessive compulsive type
Absolutely.
behaviors?
And I actually still do have a few now.
That's what I
even.
wanted to ask, is like, after all of that,
Yeah.
do you still,
I still have one or two when I'm really anxious or
then
I'm
it
stressed.
sort of comes out?
I'm aware, yeah.
Okay, I
So,
get you.
yeah. So when I was having all those effects, as you say, whatever they want to call them, not effects. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of. Anyways,
I want to say manifestations, but that
that
just sounds
definitely
way too
sounds
super.
part of the spiritual
It just
walk
sounds
that I
a
was
little
on.
too super spiritual.
know.
Yeah.
Manifestations.
Characteristics maybe, or just behaviors.
Yes.
I'd say behaviors
Yeah,
more
that's
than
cool.
anything else. Yeah.
very much aware. Like light switches. If I had switched off the lights, like if it was,
back and check.
I would go back and check. And even though I knew and I told myself I had switched them off, when OCD is very intense, you can tell yourself 5 times, and you'll still go back.
But until you make that motor function,
you'll still go back and do it, and it will take 3 or 4 or 5 times until you actually just get tired of your own shit and you stop doing it.
It's wow.
That was a big one. The big one was taps.
Oh, really? Turning taps.
And I still do that.
Making sure
that the tap is off. So even now, because I'm a little bit anxious here and there,
yes.
where I'll switch off the tap and it's off.
Yes.
But then I'll put my hand underneath the actual nozzle
to actually feel,
just to check 120% that there is no water coming out of that tap.
It's crazy, but
I know it's off.
that you've turned it off.
I know it's off, and even when I leave here, there'll be a niggling thing. Did you by any chance make sure that tap was off? And I know I did.
Wow.
So going back to when it was, so that's just with me when I'm like really anxious or really stressed or I'm just not doing well emotionally. That comes into the thing.
Okay.
But when it was first going on, it was all that kind of stuff: taps, light switches, the fridge.
As in, did you close the fridge?
Did I close the fridge? Did I switch off the stove? That was bad.
Yeah.
I actually went through a phase where I did not cook at all.
Because you were so afraid of turning on the stove.
And not coming back and it wasn't off. So I actually didn't use this stove for months. Because I didn't want to go through that infighting in my head.
Yeah, because then your logic kicks in and goes, well, if I don't turn the stove on, I'm not going to worry about turning it off.
Correct.
That's the way we rationalize stuff to ourselves.
I know, eh? So it took me quite a while to actually use the stove again. Which sounds funny, but I promise you, just, mentally, I would rather deal with less intensity and crap and stressing, and this whole obsessive stuff. Yeah. That exactly what you say. I'd rather just leave it off, because then I know that it's not on.
I've also rationalized little things like that. I'm like, well, if I don't do this, then I won't have to worry so much about doing it. And before I know it, it's become part of my life. Yeah,
which shows our mental system. We can so then when I actually got myself out the house, which also took a very long time just to get out of the house properly, and to say I'm actually leaving my house. And a lot of the time, my mum would take me, to go and see the relevant doctors and so forth. And I can't remember when I started to drive again, but it was a long time. So just to get there are different ways, like how do you get better from this? Medication for sure. I wasn't given any because it wasn't worked out what the problem was. But one of the biggest ways to deal with it, which you get told, by your psychiatrist or whatever, you say that sounds mental, literally. They say, no, one of the ways to fight it is you just fight it and you go. So if you haven't checked your door, and like I've locked the door, but then I'm going to go back 3 times. But then I force myself to go. Everything inside my system is saying, dude,
it's like screaming at you.
Check your door.
Check the door, and you just
everything. Yeah. You actually have to fight and feel worse before you get better.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest ways to get through what I went through. One of them, which is and you think, okay, cool. When I leave the house, I've dealt with everything. Cool. Yeah. I've now left my bedroom. I'm cool. No, then you find more shit. Okay, I'm now off my couch and I'm gonna go to the kitchen. Yeah. Then more crap comes out. Cool. So I thought, fine. When I leave the house, I'm gonna leave all that menagerie inside there, lock the door, deal with that shit when I come back. First time I started driving, and this also took months to get out of my system. Yeah. When I would go over a pothole or a bump in the road. Yeah. You're gonna like this one. My system said to me that I had just ridden over somebody.
Oh my word.
I would have to go around the block. And I drove around the block just to come back on that road to look if I had hit anybody.
You didn't think to just stop the car and get out of the car?
At this
something just told okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fight between where rationally, okay, there's your rational side, which is way less, it's less domineering
So
over
then
your
then this
whole
actual
intensity OCD side.
So you
So
have,
there's that side that says, dude, you didn't, which is why you don't stop the car. Because there's a little kick that says, dude, it's a hole. 80% of you says, oh my shit, I just rode over somebody. Until I made a joke about it, which I did stand-up comedy like twice in my lifetime.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. I would love to do it again, but I would actually love to do it again, but whatever. Anyways, one of the jokes that I said is that the number of times, that I had to, like stop or go around the block just to see, I actually had to stop doing because I felt so bad for that same person that I rode over 5 times that I just left them on the road and drove away. That's how I kind of helped myself to laugh at it and to actually see, dude, there's nobody on the floor. And then I just made that whole joke about, dude, if you really hit that person, he's like, and then every time he sees my car, oh, screw you, and he runs away. Kind of. So yeah, that kind of helped me through it.
So the rational part of you, there wasn't even enough rational part there to say, stop the car, get out and look. You had to go round the block in that mental state of yours.
Yeah, because there is that little side saying, dude, you didn't hit anybody. So why would I get out the car if I know I didn't hit anybody?
Oh, and then maybe a little bit later down the road, you're like, no, I've got to go and check.
Well,
Okay,
literally, exactly.
Okay.
But it's interesting because, like, for example, that you locked the door.
Yes.
But it's overpowering pressure in your system
to
just to go back. Even though I know when I'm going back, the door's going to be locked. But when you first have the, OCD, it's just an intensity that you can't describe it to someone else who hasn't gone through. That I know that I haven't hit anybody.
Yeah.
But the back of your mind is saying, shit, dude, I think you hit somebody.
But
I know I didn't.
Because you're holding these two conflicting thoughts in your head at the same time. Yes,
exactly.
And they're kind of vying
and there's a fight.
They're vying for position in your head.
And the more that you fight it, and the more that you get better, the less noise comes from the, oh my crap, you hit somebody, and the more noise and sound comes to, dude, you didn't hit anybody.
The rational side.
And when it begins to
dominating.
Exactly. When rationality comes through more.
Yes. Well, I think that's basically rewiring pathways in your brain. It's fighting against them because they're so solidly there.
Yes. Yeah.
And then now you're starting to force yourself to think in a different way, and that's painful.
100%.
Especially if you've had years and years of conditioning of thoughts and stuff like that in one way, and now you're trying to bring your thoughts to another.
Although what's interesting though with this is you don't. It's something that is reasonably new, meaning that I haven't been brought up to think that my doors aren't locked. I haven't been brought up that my taps aren't working. I haven't been brought up that I rode over somebody. It wasn't like it was like a building up thing, and
just
then
kind of in that
it just appears
appeared out of
and eats you.
That's nuts.
So that took, like I say, that was about 2 years in my life. That look, at times you think you're going a little bit wacky in the head. I remember
Can you imagine?
This is probably the most intensely spiritual event that I've had a lot. This is probably the most negative spiritual event that I've ever had. It was one night when things were at its peak, where things were just intense. Like I just couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. My whole system was just one scared pile of whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And I heard a voice, saying to me that if I just renounce God in my life, just say that God isn't real, He will take everything away from me.
Damn.
Everything. And I remember that very clearly.
Yo.
It was like about 11 or 12 o'clock at night when I couldn't sleep. I was in the lounge walking around because I just couldn't focus.
Jeep.
And it said to me, if you just renounce God, just say that God isn't real. So that's all you got to do.
All you need to do.
And I will take every horrible part of what you're going through completely away, and I won't have it anymore. I did think about it.
That must have been tempting, eh?
It was. I'm grateful that my passion for God is more than what I went through. But there was that moment But inside of me, I knew that it's just not possible. And how we were saying about truths and so forth. So this is my truth, I can't force it onto anybody else. But my truth in my life is that God is real.
Yeah.
And to say that God isn't real is saying that the sky isn't blue. It's just not possible in my life.
Yes.
It's just not possible.
Yeah.
So that's what beat that night away. Was I said I can't, even if I want to say it, I can't because it's not true.
Even that belief
Yes.
came through as more dominant
Yes.
in that moment
Yeah.
than all those mental issues.
Correct.
So as
How powerful is that?
dominating as those mental issues were, your belief was even stronger.
Yes, that's actually a very good point.
Crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it just shows your belief system how strong it is.
It's that's why our brains are malleable. They're moldable. You can change. You can change personality.
Yep.
You can just ask someone who's gone and fought in a war and then come back with PTSD.
Yeah.
That it's like personalities can change.
Yeah.
You can take those little personality tests or whatever, but I mean, really, how accurate are they?
Sure.
I mean, put that same person in Afghanistan for 2 years, bring him back.
Yeah.
And see how his personality's changed.
Gotcha.
And your test goes out the window.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So that was, there is a lot more. How are we doing on our time, dude? Just for an interest sake, because I'm pretty sure we've gone into this quite big, and I'm not even halfway into what I've gone through.
Dude, I haven't even asked you any of my questions. We're actually at 40 minutes.
Okay. Look, I guess this is probably a good place to end this as a part one. I feel, and
That's a good idea.
I don't know how you feel. I just feel that this is probably going to go further, and we can go into one or two things in the last half of my life.
Cool.
And that'll probably take up another. So here's a thought, guys. We'll leave this on an episode right now, and because we're going to go into this more, in our conversation now, we'll just put the second half of where we're going in now to a midweek episode. So you're going to be getting this episode at the beginning of the week, because I think I'm actually on time with stuff. I'm trying to get everything out Monday 12 o'clock. So Monday midday South African time.
Cool.
Is when each episode drops. And because this is going into two, me and Bruce have felt that if it is like a longer chat, because that's just where it's going, it's like feels natural.
Yeah.
Then we're going to push it into 2 episodes, but we're not going to make you wait until the following week. We're going to put one out midweek.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, especially, and we knew that there was every now and then there was going to be a topic that's going to go down a rabbit hole, and it's not going to be a normal time. So
no, but that is actually a very good description, down the rabbit hole with a Mad Hatter.
I think so. Yeah.
Off with his head. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Perfect.
We will see you guys for the first half on Monday, tomorrow.
That's right.
And have a good one. This has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Bye.